Hey, I'm Josh from Vacuums R Us and Sewing 2 in Boulder and Arvada, Colorado. Today we're going to talk about how to unclog a Dyson DC14. You're also going to find this applicable to the Dyson model DC33, and the DC07 is very, very similar, so it might be relevant to that as well. So the first thing to know when you're looking at unclogging Dyson DC14 is that they have a changeover valve. So we need to know first, before we even start, do we not have airflow on the wand, on the hose, or do we not have airflow at the base, or both? And that will help us to narrow down where the clog might be. Because there's actually a valve right here that changes over the airflow between the wand and the head, right? So assuming, let's say, we don't have airflow through the wand, right? We turn the vacuum on, we don't feel any suction there. Realistically, typically the most common place that we have a clog is in the wand itself. We press this hose will come off, and we can look down the wand and we can see if we have a clog, right? That is the most common place. The wand's fairly narrow and it has this weird little ridge thing on it here. So sometimes you suck up a Lego or something, it gets stuck in there. If that's the case, you can find a metal rod and just kind of slam it out. That's not that big of a deal. Occasionally you may have a clog farther right down in here, right? Inside the hose down here. That's pretty easy to get out. You've got a clip right here, your hose will come out, you can look in there and you'll see if you have a clog. Commonly with hoses, you'll pick up heavy debris, so pebbles, marbles, stuff that will go through the vacuum but it's heavy, and it actually collects down here in this little elbow and will eventually clog it up because the machine doesn't have enough airflow to pick that heavy debris up and get it inside the canister. So it kind of picks up and then drops down in here. So inside here, you commonly will take this off and a whole bunch of marbles and stuff will pop out. So that's pretty much the end of it if your clog is in your hose or wand. That's where it is, right? If you're experiencing low airflow at the head, first of all, it's probably not a clog. You probably have a bad clutch. That's far more common. I would say probably 19 out of 20 Dyson customers that walk into our stores that say it's not picking up, I think it's clogged. In fact, it's not clogged, they actually have a bad clutch. And we'll have another video on replacing a clutch. But on the off chance that you do have a clog, typically these lower clogs, you can see it right in there. There's a very narrow opening right there that you can get clogged. And if we flip the machine up, I'm gonna take this can off real quick because it's a little easier to wrangle with the can off. Well, maybe I'm not. There we go. So if we flip the machine over, you'll see that this hose actually comes off relatively easily. If you have a clog inside that hose, and I did say relatively easily, didn't I? There we go. And then you can get inside if there's a clog in there and you can get that. Rarely do you have a clog in this changeover valve. There's just not enough space in there. So finally though, if you are having low airflow at both the base as well as your wand, both, there's only a couple different options there. Theoretically, there could be a clog inside here, right? So this is where all the air will flow into your canister when your canister is on there. But I don't know that I've ever actually seen that, to be honest with you. What I do see occasionally, and people won't notice this, so when our canister is on the machine, where the air comes into the canister from down here, it flows up here. Frequently you may have a piece of paper or something stuck right here. It's kind of hard to see, it's up in the corner, and that will actually block off airflow up here in the canister. Another common thing, if you have no airflow in your wand and your head, the whole thing is just not working. I don't know how many times I've taken off this canister and I've opened this little bugger up right here and I pulled this filter out and the customer's gone, wow, I didn't know that was there. So check your filter. If you don't know it's there, it's clogged. They're washable to a point. If you're one of those people who didn't even know this existed, don't bother washing it, just buy a new one. There is one final filter to be aware of. They call it a lifetime HEPA filter. I don't know whose lifetime they're talking about, but they should be replaced, in my opinion, every 1 to 2 years. And that HEPA filter is right here. It's rather difficult to get off. I think the screwdriver is sharp enough. There's 3 clips. They really try to hide this thing, and you have to pop the clips very carefully because these things are brittle and they'll break. And then you can get to this filter. Whoa, yep, that one needs to be replaced. Now, that said, this filter should be replaced. It does decrease airflow as it fills up, and it's also just stinking gross. However, this filter really can't get clogged enough that it's going to decrease airflow enough that you are gonna notice it. It certainly should be replaced, but if you have a clog, this is the last thing in the world that's actually causing the problem. You have something elsewhere. In closing, if you're not comfortable with this, bring your machine to a repair shop. If some accident happens and your vacuum cleaner eats you alive or anything else while this is happening, it's not my fault. This is my disclaimer. If you're not comfortable with the repair, don't do it. Bring it to a shop.